All right, welcome back, everybody. We are players in the tunnel, ready for the Avalanche Giants match. But hold, I said I would show you some of the attributes the players have in the last episode, so let's do that now. Let's have a little dive in, because this actually impacts potentially our plans for training a little bit. I'm going to look at Uncle, star of the channel, and as you can see, here's all of his core stats on the left. And broadly speaking, they're divided into 4 different categories. The top 4 stats pertain to the character's mechanical skill. So things like monster kills represents how good the player is at getting the final hit, the kill, on any of the minions or jungle monsters in the game. And this is a really important stat, because the better this is, the more money the player makes. The more money the player makes in the game, the more likelihood is that they're going to get ahead of their opponent, and if they're ahead of their opponent, more likely they are to win. So Uncle having a 3 is pretty bad. Skill hit, skill dodge. How likely Uncle is to evade skills of the enemies and hit them with his own skills. 3 and a 2. Pretty terrible. And control speed is quite interesting. It is the representation of how many actions per second kind of thing a player is capable of taking. So again, Uncle, he's a slow player. Can't react very quickly. I suppose this is the best way of thinking of that stat. What's their reaction speed? So overall, Uncle has very weak individual skills. And what's worse is that on the mental side of the game, he's not that good either. Now, his actual mental and focus stats, these determine how, if the game's going unfavorably, as is the case for mental, does the player's performance deteriorate? Uncle's pretty good at that. And his focus is all right. So in long matches, he's better at maintaining his peak. But his positioning and his judgment, which is what I meant when I said mental, are much weaker. Judgment, I think, might be the most important attribute in the game, because the higher this stat, the more accurately the player judges the pros and cons of the current situation. And I suppose that basically means their understanding of the map and what's going on the map, how accurately can they assess any given situation. And Uncle's actually, comparatively to the rest of his stats, not terrible, but he's pretty bad overall. And positioning is, the better the skill, the higher the skill, the better at weighing gains and losses to secure better positions. So I suppose it's a bit more of a fine-tuned version of judgment. These two stats seem closely aligned. Judgment might mean in more of a strategic sense, and positioning might be in more of a isolation in the here and now, based on where your character is stood on the map. I think that's how I interpret these, although I'm not sure. Either way, judgment definitely, I think, is a key stat, because down here at the bottom are 4 skill attributes that I think are a bit more flavor, a bit more personality based, and cause is kind of a leadership ability, because the higher the stat is, the more vocal, the more calls a player will make during the game. And Uncle is a very communicative player, which makes sense for viewers of the Jackie Adventure series. But Uncle also is absolutely pretty poor at judging situations, so he will most likely constantly be yapping irrelevant things at the team, or actively unhelpful things. So I think going forward, recruitment strategy-wise, judgment is probably the single most important attribute, because I can see how it could chain to other things inside the match engine. We also have some other things. Roaming is a likelihood that the character will intervene in other positions around the map rather than the core assignment that they have. Aggression is the likelihood that they'll try something risky, which, paired with a poor overall level of judgment, again, is probably quite bad. I don't think I mind aggression being high, but I would assume that if the player's judgment is good, then they're gonna make it's gonna be reasonable that they tried something aggressive. Whereas Uncle is probably prone to being quite reckless, I would imagine. And ego is finally how likely they are to follow their own strategy or the one set up by the manager. So Uncle's a bit of a loose cannon as well. which does feel very Jackie Chan Adventures. Now, There are other stats. He's got stamina, he's got condition. These are just influenced, I think, by your training regimen and how many matches the player has played. But for the most part, this is kind of the situation with stats. I think it would be nice if there were traits, because we have other players on the team who have presumably a reasonably similar spread of like stat points. And so distinguishing them as individuals is something this game lacks. There's not much affinity that I have with any individual player. They're just a name, and are they good or bad, basically. But maybe with the advent of traits, or maybe with more clear kind of champions that they like playing or that they fear, things like that might get added to the game over time, and I would like to see that, because that would help differentiate players. But if we look at Crit Hero, who is over here compared to Uncle, I think we're approaching the point where Crit Hero is becoming a much more tempting option for us as a team, because you'll remember from the previous episode that Uncle is our most popular player, and it's not like Crit Hero is way worse than Uncle. He is mentally, for sure. Like, his mental and his focus are significantly worse, and it's not like his actual technical skills are significantly better. They're just a bit better generally. But because we are very poor, and if we look at our finances, we've got a headroom of about 100k. That's our expected profit. And the salaries of players that are decent, we're looking at more than our entire profit margin. So we do have some money in the bank to go into a deficit with, but ideally we'd like to start making money. So I think one of the ways that we could possibly do that is by turning Uncle into more of a streamer than a player. So that's probably what we're going to do, and I'll set that up off stream. But for now, or off video. But for now, I think we will consider this to be Uncle's final match, possibly as a starter. All right. Held them in the tunnel for like 8 minutes there. Can you believe it? What a rude management. As we go into the pick ban phase, this is looking a bit different. What's going on here? I think I've got... Oh, toggle. We can toggle and view the champion statistics. I think this is a bit cluttered, so I'll get rid of it. For now, they're recommending that we ban Archer. I don't necessarily have a problem with that, but I'm going to go banning Wind Mage. Pyromancer's out. I'm going to kind of, I think, ban things which... And we'll put the staff dialogue back on the screen, because I haven't seen any yet. They're adamant about Archer, so let's get rid of Archer. Executioner is worth moving up as a ban candidate right now. They use Executioner and Ice Mage often. Let's ban Ice Mage, I think. Enemy team has first pick, and they are going to go Gambler, which is something I normally ban, isn't it? So maybe... It's kind of annoying seeing these pop-ups. I'll put this... I don't know where's best to move this box. It's there. It's here for now. We're getting recommendations of Lancer, Poison Dart Hunter. Poison Dart Hunter worked well for the enemy last time, and it's worked well for us historically. So I'll go Poison Dart Hunter as our mid laner. And what do we then think that skews us towards? I think it skews us towards more area of effect stuff. Pyromancer is out, and so is Ice Mage. I guess it doesn't force us in any particular direction. I'm going to take Whipmaster, because I just think Whipmaster has been a good jungle character for us. They've gone Bomber, plus the support that can, I think, make people temporarily invulnerable. So they've got a very, very squishy team. So Assassin's potentially quite good. I'm going to take the Swordsman. And I'm going to take, I think, Fighter for a little bit of... No, because we can't take Fighter because we have our mid lane sorted by Poison Dart Hunter. So who do we want in the top lane? Can't be Dual Blade Hunter. I think I will go Siegebreaker instead. Interesting comp from their team. They are generally quite squishy. They've got a bit of engage. We will go... Maybe I'll get rid of this box. I'm not sure how helpful I find these pop-ups, actually. Maybe I'd find them more helpful with more time. For now, what we're missing is our support. It didn't work last time. Maybe it'll work this time. We'll go Pythoness. So we have a top laner who is very self-sufficient and wants to split push. And otherwise, Swordsman does like engage. He is a bit of an engage. We kind of got a mix. We've got a mix of things. So maybe this isn't the best draft. But we'll see how it works out ultimately. We're definitely going to pursue a split push focus strategy. We're going to say, Uncle, you're on your own. Which, given the deep dive we did on him earlier, is maybe a very stupid thing to say. We're not really a dive comp, so I think we'll just say we can dive towers, but I think we'll poke otherwise. We do have some characters that can dive towers, I think. He thinks. That's what he thinks. We'll go AD, 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 AD. We are almost exclusively AD, actually. I will let Uncle decide what he wants to do in the top lane. But we'll go with this. We'll go with this. We'll see what happens. If it's all looking quite bad, I will whiz through this game in terms of the highlight speed. So Uncle's got to contend with a ranged top laner, which will be a challenge for him, as we can see. Our jungler has gone down early. Maybe a smart roam from the opposition support. So that's not ideal from us. Their jungler is Gunner, who I think... Obviously he's a Western gunslinger type champion, and I think he gets like a big boost to his stats, his attack speed specifically. I think that's his ultimate. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, things aren't looking too bad. That's not such a bad fight. Snow does have... this is wild. Where are we going? We're lost. Absolutely homeless in the middle lane. Oh no, and Uncle's gone too. Oh dear. Right, all of our eggs are in the bot lane basket. I think that's our only hope. Early doors in this game. Not good. We're down. We're still down. We're tumbling down. Down, down, deeper and down. Down under the sea, where waves of deceit are threatening to torpedo our command. Very much permanently. I think this game is completely cooked. And I've got to say, I think this one is on the players. I think just on an individual level, we've been completely manhandled across the map. I'm going to go and put things on really fast speed then. And the game will slow down when there is an actual highlight. Although I suppose maybe low light is more appropriate. I don't know if we're even going to get a kill in this match. Came close there, but ended up dying instead. So yeah, Bomber looking pretty good. The only thing I'll say, like, I do think I've gone for a bit of a mixed bag draft. So that probably hasn't helped our cause. But on the other hand, I don't think it matters what you pick if your team play really, really terribly. And I mean, sometimes you pick something that's actually quite good on paper and the team just doesn't execute. I suppose everything in this kind of game, because it's an auto battler, it's all probabilistic, isn't it? So if we ran this simulation again, maybe things would be wildly different. But this is our timeline, and it is the darkest timeline, it would seem. If I do get a kill there, maybe we can turn things around here. No. Don't be stupid. Optimism is not welcome. Here. That should be the game. The enemy should clean up the tree, march down, to our base, finish us off. Looks like they're going, maybe biting off a little bit more than they can chew. Swordsman gets himself on the board. Piloted by Snow. Maybe we'll have a look at some more of our characters. I enjoyed looking at Uncle. And just thinking about the team a little bit more, feeling a bit more connected to the players. Right now, I don't really want to be particularly connected to the players because they are behaving disgracefully, absolutely disgracefully. But look, it's all going to be over soon. It's all going to be over soon. It's okay. They merciless. They put us out of our misery. Yeah. Just dreadful performance from everybody there. Absolutely dreadful. Enemy team, on the other hand, excellent performance. So I'm not sure if Avalanche Giants are one of the better teams in our league. They could be. I didn't really have a close look. Maybe I'll do that in the future. Focus less on showing you the spreadsheet stuff and more on what's happening in each match. Saying Archer is worth a ban. We are on blue side, so we do get first pick. So kind of like what do we think would be a good first pick? And it could genuinely be something like Archer. I'm going to ban Dual Blader, I think, because that's a very strong top laner. So if we don't have it, then they will probably have it. And that could be scary. I'm going to leave Pyromancer open because I feel like their team are forced to ban that. And we'll go Pyromancer if it's open. Otherwise, our coach adamant that we should ban Archer. So, I'll do it. It's also saying Ice Mage, Executioner again. So very similar thoughts from our backroom staff. Guess I don't have any super strong feelings to the contrary. But I'm going to leave Executioner open and ban the Ice Mage. They do ban Pyromancer. Okay. That would have been my pick. We're getting suggestions of Executioner, Shadow Mage, Shadowmancer, and the Clown, which we haven't seen before. From our staff. I'm tempted to go Executioner here. And we're gonna angle our draft around hooking them in. So we want champions. We want to be able to catch them off guard. Maybe I should have left this till later, but they have opted into a Squishy Assassin as their first pick. I'm going to take Fighter because I just think they have really reliable crowd control stuns, which will pair very nicely with the Executioner. And I think still wanting possibly a traditional kind of... We could put Fighter in the bot lane, that's the thing. So let's look for a jungle pick here. While I'm otherwise undecided. I'm going to take the Berserker. So the Berserker, I don't think we've seen him yet. He is a melee-only champion, goes low on health, has a lot of Omnivamp, right? He'll heal through a load of damage. And is himself a damage dealer. They've taken Sniper. So this could be really good for the Executioner, actually, because they are extremely immobile. Fighter's got some mobility, Berserker's got some mobility. What do I want to put in the top lane? I'm going to put Boomerang Hunter in the top lane because I panicked. They are a ranged kind of champion. And they can put some AoE stuff on the floor. And otherwise, what do I want to do in the bot lane? Do I want to put Fighter down there, or do I want to put something else? Go with Shadowmancer. So now the only decision is, do we put Shadowmancer as our bot laner? Would you go away, please, coach? Recommendations, you're in the way of my hut. Or do we put the Fighter? Their team will probably either have Cavalry or Sniper in the bottom lane. I do like the idea of the amount of kind of stuns that fighter plus executioner would have, but I also like the idea of him being mid and kind of being able to, if they put sniper mid, I feel like this is a good compromise. I'm not going to go all in on one concept. They put sniper in the top lane. Well, I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting that. That's for sure. I think this is a comp that wants to be more grouped up, so we're going to go for a more, typically a more grouping strategy. And because I think their top lane is potentially very vulnerable to ganks, let's focus top and mid in this one. That's going to be the overall strategy, I think. Go AD with a little bit of defense on our jungler and mid laner, that makes sense. Magic. And their team profile is looking, I think it's full attack damage, so we could probably just start with defense into HP on the support, something like that I think works. Let's get into it. I'll slow speed down just a little bit. So it's cavalry mid. Their bot lane is druid, which is a tank unit, and an assassin support again, and they've gone with monk in the jungle. Seems to be something that coaches favoring, AI coaches anyway. I haven't done it. So I'm not sure how much success our bot lane is going to have early. Fighter seems to be losing that one. There is, of course, a lot of enemy minions, so when there are enemy minions, they do also attack champions and do bits of damage to them, so it's advantageous to engage on your opponent when you have more minions than your opponent. So now this is much more favorable for us, because we have more minions, right? And so that was a much better trade for our mid laner. The druid can summon these, like, teddy bears. For some reason that teddy bear reminds me of the Digimon, and I can't remember its name. There's a big teddy bear Digimon. And some sort of bold eagle looking thing can also summon. And those are just things that it uses to make that champion push the lanes. So they tend to have quite a lot of priority, tempo-wise, on the map. We seem to be setting up on the Serpent, but it's currently just our support in there. We're going to sacrifice a tower, but we do claim an objective for ourselves, so that's good. I'm a little bit worried, oh my goodness, about the momentum the enemy team have in the bottom lane. And in general, actually, we seem to be quite far behind on gold. Everywhere, we've lost our middle turret, we've also died in the middle lane, so middle lane's a disaster. Maybe this is just, I will be interested to know, actually. I'll have a look at the enemy players' attributes following this game, because they do just seem to be, quite frankly, dominating us in the early game everywhere. Same story as in the first set, although this time we get a nice bit of chain CC, and again, Executioner coming up big with the Fighter and the Berserker. I think that's how we're going to have to win. But I think that's our path to victory, is these sorts of picks. So one thing I will say that's in our favour compared to the previous set, our team does have a lot more playmaking potential. There's a lot going on here, and none of it good. Unless you are a hater of the Redshirts, which why wouldn't you be after this game? I mean, look, we're lovable underdogs, maybe, but that opening win of the season is looking looking like a completely different team, I'll be honest. Things are going from bad to worse here. We might get something back. We don't get anything back. Yeah, I was hoping the Shadowmancer would come up big for us, because their ultimate will kind of put a bunch of champions in a Shadow Realm, do a bunch of damage to them. They'll be out of the action for a while, and then they'll come back in. And the rest of your team can hopefully pounce on them. But the only pouncing that's happening right now is on us. So, you know, I think this one's a wrap, to be honest. It's an absolute catastrophe out there. Have we even taken a turret yet from the opposition? I don't think we have. There is an achievement, which I think I already have, which is for like winning the game, winning a match without losing a turret, without losing, maybe also without any deaths. I'm not sure. Maybe the AI deserves an achievement for how well it's handled us in this game. I'm going to up the highlight speed because I don't see any path back to us, any path back for us. We may get the odd pick here and there, given the playmaking potential of some of our champions, but I think the overall deficit that we face is just going to be too much for it to matter, even if we do get a pick or two. So I think the enemy team could have ended there, but they want to pad their stats, I guess. Oh. And why shouldn't they? They just want to make us look as amateur as possible. And I think mission accomplished, to be frank. Oh, look at that. They didn't even go and hit the our base. They just let the minions do the dirty work. That was dreadful. Uncle with a disastrous game against Sniper. I do think, to be fair, Sniper is a very strong character at the moment. Monk, I think it's not a good jungle pick, but it doesn't matter when we play as badly as we did. There were moments that Berserker and our fighter picks had, as well as the Executioner. But overall, just the quality difference between the two teams was vast. Let's have a look at Avalanche Giants. Just a quick look at their roster. Well, their top laner is certainly... They don't have grey numbers everywhere. They've got 2 junglers. One of them's pretty good. This player is terrible, but I don't think they were the one who played. I think this player played, which is quite funny that they're called Skumond, because that's an actual pro player in League of Legends. They don't play jungle, though. They don't play mid, though. They play jungle. They have a character called Jerk. I can't believe I didn't spot that. Maybe they didn't play. They probably did. I do think it's safe to say that overall their roster is way better than ours, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. We'll catch you maybe on the next episode. It's up to you, ultimately. I don't have any control of it. You're a person of your own free will. Let me know if you're liking the videos, or if you want anything changed, or if there's anything you want us to delve into next. There's a few things we could look at. We can start creating some merchandise. So we might have to make some Uncle merch and turn him into a streamer and see if we can generate any extra revenue, because our finances are, like I say, we've got a very marginal expected profit. If we can increase this, we might have options in terms of recruiting. I haven't set up, actually, any scouting yet, because scouting costs money. And we don't have any money. So that's a problem. Look, yeah, I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. You have yourself a day. Whether it's good or bad, I hope it's good. But certainly have a day. You've got to have a day. You've got to have a day.